into the marsh, up into the grass and stuff, and it really affects your fishing. But there was quite a bit of bait today, but it was just it is what it is. It's the elements. You go to have a good time. If you catch fish, that's a bonus, and just go out and enjoy yourself. I had some great customers. Well, there's some customers I've had before, and they realized what it's all about, and they needed to get away. Just like, gosh, I think every day is a Saturday now because there's so many boats out there. Everybody wants
Oh,
to get
really?
away. You can't really blame them. This Corona stuff. I know it's bad, and I know it's something real serious, but I wear a mask and I wear gloves, and I tell my customers, we're going to stay away from each other. It's kind of hard in a 24-foot boat, and you got three people. So,
Yeah.
and then if we're throwing lures, that's a little easier. But we were using live shrimp today under a popping cork, and I'm in the back baiting hooks and netting fish and taking care of my customers because I don't fish hardly yet. I will fish if they need some help, but a lot of time I let the customers fish. They're paying me pretty good money, and I'm going to let them catch fish.
Yeah,
That's
that's,
what it's
that's
about.
awesome. Yeah.
And I always tell them, fishing's free. I don't charge the fish. It's that boat ride that costs you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's kind of a little joke, but no, I've been doing this for I don't know if you're familiar. I've been doing this for 30 years.
Definitely.
I had a full-time job and I was a part-time guide. Now I've been doing it full-time for quite a while, and I enjoy doing it. It's just something I like doing.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Well, yeah, just want to thank everybody who's tuning in on Facebook. This is Jonathan with Captain Experiences, and I'm here live with Captain Mike. And so, yeah, I guess we can just start off by having you, introduce yourself, talking about where you like to fish, what kind of trips you offer, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I'm Captain Mike Cassiati, and I live in the Deer Park area, so I live pretty close to the water. You got Trinity Bay, all the water complex, Galveston complex, and I do fish Sabine complex also. And I like going over Sabine in October and November. It's a lot different fishing. You got Louisiana limits over there, and especially during flounder seasons, where over here you can keep 2, and over there you keep 10.
Wow.
But they're changing the rules this year over here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You can only, I don't believe you can even keep a flounder in November and part of December with the new rules.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that works out. But, overall, I like to fish the Galveston complex. It's close to the house. And I like to throw lures, and I like to use live bait. I tell you, I always talk about the ABCs of fishing. A stands for artificial. I love to throw artificial baits, and I got customers. That's all we do. Yeah, well, if they're not hitting on artificials, I go to B. B's bait. Somebody else throw some bait out. So that's A, B. And you got the ABCs of fishing. And C stands for, well, if you're using artificials and baits, C stands for catching. So that's what you should be doing. Of course, they always say, well, what does D stand for? I always say dynamite. So anyway, that's the way that works. That's the ABCs of fishing. But I try to target fish that are biting. I'm a different fishing guide. Some of these guys they target nothing but trout, redfish, but I like to target fish that are biting. It could be whatever: sand trout, gulf trout, speckled trout, redfish, flounders. I believe that when I take someone out there fishing, they want to catch. They, and get their line stretched out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also I fish the jetties. The jetties are red hot right now. There's a lot of good big trout caught at the jetties right now. And I got a lot of customers that they want to fish a star tournament, and that's coming up. It's Memorial Weekend. It's a couple weeks away. So that's the time to get out there and catch a tag red. Is right off the first couple of weeks or a few days there. But the tag reds, they normally turn them loose right there West Bay. They turn them loose there in Galveston. There have been a lot of them caught right there off the Texas City Dike area. And there's always some caught there at Clear Lake. So you never know. You might as well invest in it. You might win a boat motor, a trailer.
Yep.
It's fishing tournament. It's for fun.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I fished the Galveston complex. I also fished Clear Lake. People don't talk much about Clear Lake. It's kind of a sleeper, but we don't have a lot of runoff from rain, Clear Lake's a very real good fishing lake.
Good.
A lot of trout. Now, the birds in Clear Lake will work in September and October. And that's a fun time. That's if you want to learn how to throw lures, soft plastic, that would work under birds. That's the best thing. Matter of fact, there was 2 flocks of birds today where I put in there, and I put in there at the causeway, and I was heading out towards Campbell Bayou. It's no secret. Everybody knows where Campbell Bayou is. They know where Texas City Dike is. They know where Pelican. I mean, but you just got to look for the bait, look for birds, and if there's no birds, you just got to figure out the water clarity. Now, trout likes that clear water. If you can't find clear water, green water, whether you're going to might as well fish some rocks for sheephead, redfish, or whatever. Right now, this time of the year, a lot of times right now is the gaff tops are moving in.
Yeah.
So and you'll catch them in Trinity Bay, Galveston Bay, some big gaff tops, and there is a classification for gaff tops there in that star tournament. Matter of fact, for 2 or 3 years in a row, we finished a half an ounce out of first place. My customers did, catching a big gaff top, 7 to 8 pounds. Wow. It's just crazy, Yeah, we'd be fishing for trout with using live croakers and start catching these big gaff tops.
Yeah.
So there's opportunity out there doing that tournament for someone to catch something.
Yeah, definitely. The CCA Star Tournament's going to be a blast. Yeah, and we are definitely going to start suggesting on our site when people book trips. Hey, you got to register. Make sure you register because the last thing you want is for someone to catch a winner and not be registered and lose out on a brand new boat.
And that happens every year. I listen to the radio show, talk shows and stuff, the fishing, and they said, "God, can you believe the guy called a tag red and he wasn't in the tournament?" A young boy, and then he said, "Well, I caught this tag red." And they hand the pole over to somebody that was in the tournament. Well, guess what? He did not win a boat.
Yeah.
You got you got to do it legally.
Yeah.
Polygraph test and all that. They're giving away a lot of prizes, a lot of scholarship. If, of course, my kids are grown. My son's a lawyer up in Fort Worth. My daughter teaches up in Fort Worth, in Texas, Austin. But anyway, so you take your kids out fishing. That's what it's all about. When they're young, because that's our future right there is your kids. I know this homeschooling, I see a lot of kids out there fishing now with their dads because that's fishing 101. That's their class lesson. So they're out there having a great time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so how did you begin to fish? What was it like? Did you grow up fishing around Deer Park, or how'd you get into the sport?
Well, my dad, he fished when he was young, and he's from New York, Rockaway Beach. He fished over there, and of course he joined the Navy and became on an aircraft carrier. He became a pilot, flying in the South Pacific, in World War II, and he, married my mom, and then of course, rest of history, But still, then he liked to fish, and so he drugged me along, and we had a great time. We just started fishing when I was about 6 years old, and we fished all over. We did a lot of freshwater fishing. We did a lot of saltwater fishing. I can remember back in the 50s, I used to fish out of Crawley's Bait Camp in Trinity Bay. I was about 7 or 8 years old. We used to go in there and rent a boat, and the guy would pull us out, we drop anchor, and he'd come back and get us in a couple hours. And we would have a box full of fish. And back then, we didn't put fish on ice. We just put them on a stringer. And so we did a lot of good saltwater fishing. And then, of course, there was a Texas City Dike. My dad, he liked to just get out there and put a lawn chair out and just put a line out there. And he wouldn't even have a bait on it half the time. He just sat out there. But, I've been fishing. Gosh, I've been a captain for 30 years.
Wow.
I had a full-time job, but I was working 410s. So I guided on Fridays and Saturdays and went to church on Sundays. So it worked out pretty good for me. I had my clientele built up, and I really don't advertise too much, but I thought I'd just, talk to you here on this show and just help some of the viewers out there. If they got any questions, I don't know if they could text it to you or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But, I'll tell you, if you're going to go out fishing, fish for what's biting. Have a good time. Don't worry. It's not what you catch. It's just out there in the fellowship. Take your family. Take your friends. You can always go to jetties and catch fish. But the jetties are very dangerous. you got to watch what you're doing. You got big ship wakes. You got some bad weather can hit you. You can get up on those rocks before you know it.
Yeah.
So, no matter where you're fishing, now the law says you got to wear a kill switch when you're underway.
Yeah.
Now, when you're idling up to a boat ramp, you don't have to have it. But when you're on the way and wide open and moving, you need to put your safety switch on your wrist or somewhere. If you fell overboard, I don't know if you saw Facebook the other day in Clear Lake where that guy fell overboard and his boat kept running. It was on the news yesterday.
Wow.
If he had his kill switch on his wrist and he fell overboard, well, he would have died. He could have swam back to the boat and got in it and went on his way. So that's right there happened here Sunday.
Wow.
It was my wife and I, we drove down Sunday to Clear Lake just to look things over. It was at that park there on Nassau Road 1. There's only one boat ramp now because they got the ones closed underneath the Kemah Bridge. There must have been 200 boat trailers. It was crazy.
Wow.
I said, I'm glad I took the day off. I tell you what, it was something else. But I've fished my whole life. I do a lot of hunting also, but I do more fishing than anything else.
Yeah.
Today, like I said, today was a windy day, but we caught fish. Sometimes I always tell my friends, well, I got lucky. But I've been fishing for so long, and there's areas. But when that water turns muddy, gosh, you just got to fish for what you can,
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, so, I know every day is just a great time on the water, but do you have a favorite trip or a specialty trip that people, book with you for the most part?
Yeah, I run different trips. We can target different fish, but normally in July and August, I do run some shark fishing trips.
Yeah,
off the beach, and that's kind of exciting for my customer. Not just a shark, but they get their adrenaline going. They catch these big sharks, and man, last year we caught right at a 200-pound hammerhead.
Wow.
And just right there, about 2 miles off the beachfront.
Wow.
And in shark fishing, you can actually eat a shark, but if you're going to catch a shark, when you get them in, they can bite.
Oh yeah.
So don't bring a live shark in the boat. If you want to keep them, and you got to look at the laws and regulations. You can keep a black tip, a bonnet head, but you can't. Some of the spinner sharks, some of the other sharks have got to be 6 feet long. So you got to really look at what you're catching and what you're going to keep. Let's say you're going to keep a black tip. Well, how do you know it's a black tip? Well, he's got black on the tips. So does he have black on all the tips? No, he don't. If he's got blacks on all the tips, he's a spinner shark.
Huh.
And he's got to be 65 inches long.
Huh.
That's a spinner. Now, if you bring a black tip in and the dorsal fin on the bottom is white, that's a black tip. So not all of his fins are black for a black tip. A lot of people mess up.
Yeah.
They bring a little old shark in that's illegal. But, getting caught, unfortunately, we need more game wardens, more people abiding by the laws, but it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But the main thing is when you shark fish, I've done it for a long time. I don't do it all the time, but I've done a lot of it. When you get a shark on, you get them upside the boat. I carry a 9mm or a 380. You're allowed to shoot a shark. So I shoot the shark right between the eyes. I mean, it sounds kind of bad. I know people are listening. God, that guy's crazy shooting out there. But be careful. You don't shoot a hole in the boat. When I shoot the shark and he's laying there, well, I take a rope and put it around his tail. And I gaff. You can't gaff a shark through his skin because it's just like leather. You can't put the gaff through it. So you got to, when he opens his mouth, you got to go through his mouth and his gills. So you hold the shark tight. You have one of your customers, take the rope on his tail and make it tight, and then you pull the gaff real tight. So now you got the shark laying upside the boat, but he's still not in the boat.
All right.
I take a knife and I gut him right there. I get I get that liver and stuff out. Let me tell you why you do that. I don't know I'm sure people that's fished out there is listening to the show about that. What you have is a smell like ammonia. That's that smell coming from his liver. See, a shark will urinate through his blood. He doesn't have a bladder like a human. Or the only one that has that bladder, if I'm not mistaken, is a mako. But
Interesting.
so when you're fighting him, he's adrenaline, so he's letting everything go, all that ammonia stuff go through his body. So you want to get that out of there. So you want to gut them, clean them out, let them soak in the water for a few minutes, and then throw them on ice. And then if he won't fit your cooler, what you want to do is cut them halfway in two, not all the way. That way you can fold them just like a pocket knife, and they'll fit right in your cooler. And shark steaks are good, and you're allowed one shark per person. But when I'm fishing, like customers, we shark fish, we only just bring one in. That's it. If they want to eat it, I fillet it out. I cut shark steaks out of it. They grill them, they fry it. The other thing about shark meat, if you ever had any shark to eat, it's high in protein.
Yeah.
So when you eat some of it, you're gonna get full pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it's a good tasting fish. I mean, it's okay. It's not like a flounder or a trout, but it's eatable. So shark fishing is a lot of fun. I get a lot of customers say, hey, let's just go, especially young kids. They get excited during Shark Week, and I get calls and I don't believe in charging a lot of money to do it, because it don't cost anything to do it. You're just out there drifting around with some. Normally, if I know I'm going to shark fish, I keep some of if I catch some croakers or some maybe ladyfish is one of your better. Ladyfish is good, real bloody. I keep them, freeze them, and that's what I use for bait. So the bait's free. It doesn't cost you much, but it's just the idea of fighting a big shark. But it's a lot of fun, and they enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a blast. That's great. Yeah, and I've heard good things about shark. Never had it personally, but yeah, I mean, if you're taking that meat aboard and feeding the house or whatever, that's fantastic. Can't go wrong.
You want to process. You want to make it clean and good. You want it so they can eat it.
Yeah. So what would you say is unique about fishing with Captain Mike? What do you offer people that they might not be able to find or experience elsewhere? Fishing alone or fishing with another guide out there.
Well, I don't talk bad about any guys. They're all great. What I do different, I don't fish. I let my customers catch the fish.
Mm-hmm.
I won't pick a pole up unless they need help. If I got small kids, I always say, have the kids stand in the back with me. Now, make sure they got a life jacket on. I believe in life jackets and staying safe.
Yeah.
But I have the kids stand next to me, and I help them. And I show them how to cast. I teach them about fishing. I show them. I talk to them. Why are we fishing here? So, I mean, a lot of times they get excited. They want to know what's going on. They're just young kids. Yeah. And they'll listen to you. Where sometimes I get a grown-up, I know what to do. I said, well, your son's back here, or your daughter's back here catching fish. How come you haven't caught one yet? But I mean, just if you're going to pay a captain $400, $500, $600, whatever the price is, everybody's got different prices. Listen to him what he says, because he's a professional. You're paying him money for you to catch fish. Now, if you go out there, you're not going to listen to him. You know it all. Well, guess what? You might not catch it. But the reason I don't fish at the cost of to go fishing. People, that's a pretty good expense. They're on vacation. They're going to spend $500 or $600. They need to catch their own fish.
Yeah.
If they need help, I will help them. So what about me is I don't fish. I'll sit there and watch them. If they need something, I get them a drink or whatever they need, some ice, water or whatever. I bake their hooks. I net their fish. When you go with me, you can go in a 3-piece suit. with some Italian slippers on, and never get dirty, never touch a fish, and have a great time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Tina here is saying fishermen are mentors. Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, when you're paying that money out of pocket and you're going fishing. I mean, the number one thing that I think you're paying for is that knowledge. And getting some tips and tricks to go back and fish yourself and improve. It's fishermen and guides are mentors, they're coaches, they're all of those things. And the most valuable asset is that knowledge that you've built up fishing these waters over the years. So that's the important stuff.
Yeah, and now that everybody's got these GPSs, it's just global. I mean, gosh, you could go beside somebody, punch them in, and take off, and come back the next day right where you catch the fish.
Yeah.
And they always ask me, can I look at your GPS? Can I carry it? I said, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
That don't mean the fish are going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it. If you go fishing every day, you go to the same spot every day, you catch fish. You catch fish. All of a sudden, you don't catch any. So what am I going to do? Where do they go? How do I know? Do I fish shallow? Do I fish deep? Do I fish the birds, or do I go over to here? Do I go there? What do I fish the rocks? Where did the fish go? Well, you know, that's why you hire a guide to help you. And I tell everybody, bring a map, put an X on it, GPS, punch it in. I don't care. I guarantee, because the way we're fishing, we're covering a lot of territory. I do a lot of seminars on the water for people that just bought a boat, and all they want to do is learn the bay. I take them out in their boat. I said, but I want to make sure you have a good GPS so you can track it, remember the track, and then mark where I say this is where we ought to fish. Now, you got to remember, fishing is seasonable. It's just like anything else. Trout fishing is getting ready to be real good at the jetties, and it's hot at the jetties. They're going to start migrating in. They follow the shrimp in. Right now, there's big white ones in, big white shrimp. And there's a bunch of small ones too, but they're starting to migrate. There was birds working today when I came up under the causeway on the left-hand side. There was 2 big groups of birds. But remember, if you see birds and there's already somebody fishing them, respect them.
Yeah.
Don't go run up there in front of them. Don't up there and try to box them out of their. Most likely their gaff tops or their sand trout, or it could be specks. But let them. You know, they're there first. Let them fish. Just go on and find your own birds, or just figure something else out.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll be in East Bay and I'll be drifting on some birds, and all of a sudden a boat just runs right in front of us. And I said, you know, for enough of that, you know, so I don't really like to fish birds, but it is a way to learn how to use lures anyway, especially soft plastics. You know, I use a lot of down south lures, and Mike's a friend of mine, and I catch a lot of trout with his lures. He's a big redfish fisherman. They fish all them tournaments. And matter of fact, back in last year in September, I fished that redfish rodeo, and it's for the ladies. And I didn't fish. I just put the ladies on some fish, and we weighed in 42 pounds of fish in 2 days.
Man.
Won first place. So
wow, congrats! There you go.
We had a good day. And
that's awesome. Congratulations.
And then those ladies said, well, "How come we're not catching anything?" I said, "It's not 10:30." So what do you mean? I said, "Well, at 10:30, y'all start catching some fish." Sure enough, 10:30 to 11 o'clock, we had probably 10 redfish in a boat, and they're all between 8 and 9 pounds. So I said, "You start culling whatever y'all want. This is it." Because but I was on those fish because I fish a lot, and I knew they were there. But it's just like the more you go, the more times you go, the better you're going to learn the base system. And it's not only fishing. If you got a boat, learn how to pull the boat. Check your lights. Make sure you got your trailer hooked up. Make sure you got your safety chains on.
Yep.
There was a guy the other day launched his boat. When he launched his boat, the trailer boat went in the water. It came off his trailer hitch.
Wow.
If it had his safety chains on, it wouldn't have happened. Yeah. So he had to, get it back on somehow, and he managed it. But you got to be careful when you're launching a boat. And I got a 24-foot boat. I'll launch it by myself. And everybody says, "You need help?" No, I don't need help. Because you start to help me, I'm probably going to mess up. So I use the secret to launching a boat by yourself is to have a rope tied to the bow twice as long as a boat trailer. Now think about that, twice as long. So what you're going to do is you're going to tie one end of the rope to your boat winch. You're going to unhook everything. Make sure your plug's in. Always check your plugs and make sure always make sure your boat motor is start before you launch it too, because a lot of people have dead batteries. They haven't used it in 3 months. But anyway, check all of that before you even get to the boat ramp.
Yeah.
But when you launch a boat with a rope that's twice as long as a boat trailer, you ease it off. It's going to drift out away from the boat trailer. Then you pull up real slow. That way you're not getting out in water. So you pull up real slow. But if you pull up too fast, that boat's going to want to get back on that trailer. So go real slow, get out, unhook it, take it around, tie it off, get in your truck and move. But always have your boat ready to launch before you get to the launch. In other words, there's a line of cars waiting to launch. Just get out, unhook everything, get it all ready. That way, when you're ready to launch, you can launch in 5 minutes. You can be out of the way.
Yeah.
And the same thing with loading a boat up. You know, you want to. I like to get as close to a pier as I can. So when I get it up on the trailer, I leave it in gear. If you take it out of gear, sometimes the boat will drift back off the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So when you load a boat, keep it in gear, and then step out onto the pier, walk around, hook up the boat, tighten it up, walk back, get in the boat, kill the engine, and raise the engine up.
Yeah.
I've seen people not raise their engine and pull up and lose their lower unit, dragging it on the concrete.
Yeah.
So, you know, just rule of thumb, it's pretty simple. You know, make sure you got all your safety gear in the boat, you know, life jackets, fire seal, and check that fire seal because it can go out on you. You know, it can, you never know.
Yeah.
Make sure you got your whistles, your horns, and just have a checklist.
Yeah.
Now, you know, you could write a checklist and check it off before you launch your boat and check it off when you load your boat. Just check it off, and then pretty soon you're familiar with it. You can throw the checklist away. But when what's going to happen when you get in a hurry? It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Once you get in a hurry, something's going to grab you. It will happen.
When you start thinking about fishing and getting out there, and you get into your spot, beating everybody out there, and you know, before you know it.
Now, can I say I've launched my boat without my plug? Yeah, I have. You do it one time, you remember it from then on. I've launched my boat with the plug out. And I managed to put the plug in and pump the water out, but it will happen to everybody, even the professional fishing guides. They do mess up every now and then. They're not all perfect, but rule of thumb is when you book a fishing guide, pick his brain, talk to him.
Yeah.
Find out what makes them tick. Why are you fishing here? What's going on? How come? You know, why are we moving? You know, or what are we looking at?
Yeah,
and that'll help you because you're paying them. You know, you're paying good money.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard working money. Right now, money's hard to come by. People don't have jobs. But they want to get out. They're tired. They're in the house. So, and I just now started fishing again pretty hard. I mean, I stayed in the house. 30 days or something. It was crazy. So I went out last week a couple times. I went out this week. So it's getting better.
Yeah. There you go. Good stuff. Yeah, I know people are excited about the summer coming up. You know, that's funny. I listened to the Bite Me Saltwater Fishing podcast with Scott Knoll, Captain Scott Knoll, and John. And they have a section that they talk about called the Boat Ramp Confessional, where they they just talk about all these terrible things that have happened. So that's hilarious.
Yeah, if you want to win $10,000, just set it at the boat ramp with a camera. You can get the funniest video.
Yeah,
it happens right now. It's happening every day right now.
Yeah,
it's pretty silly, but you know, it is what it is.
Yep. Can you touch on your boat for everyone? You know, what are you fishing out of?
I've got a 24-foot Kenner.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 250 Honda 4-stroke.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's my third engine on that boat. I normally run between 2,500 and 3,000 hours on a motor.
Wow.
Then I sell it and buy another one.
Yeah.
So I just bought this one last year, so it's almost a year old.
Nice.
With a 24-foot Kenner, I got a jack plate, of course, power trim and tilt. I got a stainless steel prop on it, and I got a stainless steel guard on the bottom that protects that keel.
Yeah.
Also, I got a 10-foot power pole. If you're going to buy a power pole and you're going to fish the bays, you can get you a 10-foot one. And everybody's got 8-foot ones now. They come out with the 10-foot one. It makes a difference. I can anchor in 8 foot of water where that guy in 8 foot can't do it. I mean, do I anchor in 8 foot of water? I did today. You know, most of the time I anchor in 6 to 7 or 5 foot because I'm fishing back towards some rocks, or I'm fishing on some sand or something. But you know, you need to have a power pole. I was always against one. I said that rope and anchor. I said I can still lift it up, but I tell you what, it sure has been nice for the last year just pushing that button up and down. Yeah. You know, it just makes it a lot easier. You know, the easier you make it, the better it is.
Yeah, definitely. Well, so what's it like for you when you put somebody on a big fish or on their first fish?
I reach for my camera and video it. But when they catch their first fish, they're all excited. Now I always tell them, just relax. And I always tell my customers, when you catch a fish, do not bring them in the boat. I don't care if it's a trout, redfish, whatever. Leave them in the water, and I'll net it or I'll take it off. You never know, especially these gaff tops and hard heads. You get to yanking a hard head or a gaff top out of the water and swinging them around. It's not going to be a pretty sight when that thing sticks somebody in the back or in the arm or in the head.
Yeah.
Especially your mom or dad or your friend, y'all out there drinking beer. And I don't mind. You can drink all, I got people that drinks beer on the boat, but I make sure they drink enough water for the difference.
Right.
But I'm liable for them.
Right.
I've got guide insurance, and I'm liable for my customers from when they step on my boat to when they get off.
Yeah.
And then I'm probably liable for them till they get home if they drink a lot and they're, I might want to tell them, y'all sit here for a couple of hours and drink some water before you. And I will tell them that.
Yeah.
But I haven't never had any problems. I've got some that they bring a couple 6-packs, but during the day they drink a 6-pack of beer and drink water. I said, for every beer you drink a water.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't have a restroom on my boat, so let me just take that imagination how they got to go. and all the women, they ask me, sir, you got a restroom? I said, I sure do. I got a restroom in my boat. I said, I got a bucket and a raincoat. But there's not hardly any fishing guide that has restrooms in their boats. They like these big bay Parkers and some of them, they got a little restroom, but they're all full of fishing gear.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't even get them. That's their storage.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, and what I do also that a lot of guides don't do for young women or older women, whatever, I run them into the restroom.
Oh, wow. Really?
If I'm in West Bay, I'll run them into maybe Harbor Walk.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll bring them back somewhere. Or if I'm out to jetties, I might even bring them into the yacht basin and turn around and go back out there. I mean, I just tell them it's you got 6 hours of fishing. You want to spend an hour going to the restroom, an hour back. Within that, now you got 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I don't really look at my watch. If you go out with a captain and he steady looking at his watch, just looking at it, guess what? Personally,
Yeah.
he ain't out there to help you. He's out there to make his money, get in and go get some more.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't look at my watch. I want to go have a good time. I want my customers to have a good time. And I tell them, if you don't have a good time with me, you don't owe me nothing.
Yeah.
Now, if I get some people that's, horse's butt or whatever, and I take them back to the dock. I said, don't worry about it. It's a free trip. I don't need you on my boat. But most 99.9% of the fishermen are great people.
Yeah.
They want to get out and enjoy the outdoors. And I try to make it as, let's say, it's a trip of a lifetime. Because some of them, that's all they're going to do is go one time. Yeah. But I've got, like today, these people have booked me 4 times. I've never met them before the first trip. And then they come back the second, and the third. And I said, God, we didn't have a good day. Well, look, you worked hard for us, Captain. Here's your little extra. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, you work hard for them. People appreciate it. I went out and we've caught 30 trout before. Working hard. You got to clean 30 trout. And I don't charge clean fish either.
Yeah.
Down south, they charge $2 a fish. We don't charge the clean fish. And they say thank you and they walk off. Well, like today, we only had a handful of fish. They said thank you. Well, here's a little extra for your time and cleaning the fish.
Yeah.
Because it's a business, but I'm keeping it affordable.
Yeah.
And a lot of these fishing guys say, man, why do you don't charge enough? I said, don't worry about it. It's my business. I enjoy watching people have a great time.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. That's amazing stuff. Well, so why do you do it day in and day out? What gets you up in the morning? Why do you love it?
Gosh, I got a feeling if you lay on that couch, you're going to stay there. I got to get up and move. I'm an old man. They call me Pops. I'm 71 years old, and I can fish with the best of them.
Oh, yeah.
I get up 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and drink a little coffee, and I go get the bait. I'm at the dock an hour ahead of time waiting on the customers, got the poles ready, got everything ready. I want to make sure everything's ready for them. And they show up, we ice their drinks down, whatever. I got a dry storage for whatever they want. And then I said, we'll go have a good time. I give them a safety talk. I said, okay, this is a life preservers. Now who can run a boat? I want to make sure somebody can drive a boat. So why do I want to do that? It's my boat. I'm the captain. Let's say I had a heart attack. Let's say I fell and hit my head and I'm unconscious. How are we going to get that boat back to the marina? How are we going to get back to where I picked them up at? So I make sure somebody that goes can run a boat, look at my GPS, back the tracks up, and take you right back to where we left from. And then call a helicopter, pick me up, get me out of here. But, I believe you never know. Never know what could happen to you.
Yeah.
I've had hooks in my hands and stuff, and I managed to pull them out myself and different things. A couple of them I had to go to the doctor, but I always tell my customers that's why you leave the fish in the water, because if you went to yank that fish up and he comes off, that hook's gonna fly through the air.
Yeah.
And I always tell my customers, here's what you need. You need a hat, sunglasses, a small windbreaker, sunblock, and then you enjoy and have a good time. There's no sense getting sunburned out there.
Yeah.
There's no sense in not having sunglasses. You could have a hat to kind of keep some of the sun off. It's just easy stuff, but I do it every day, and I just remind people of it. When I call them the day before or the night before where we're going to meet at, I tell them, make sure you got a fishing license. I said, you need a fishing license. You need hat, sunglasses, sunscreen. I said, now, the reason I don't want y'all to put the bait on the hook is you could have suntan lotion on your hands, and you reach your hand down that live well, you just killed $50 worth of bait.
Yeah.
And you're paying for it.
Yeah.
So,
so there's something we need to get you for that. Tina, who's checked in. Yep, exactly. Does he have a bait butler? We've got to get you a bait butler here. It's an attachment for the top of your bait bucket, and basically you just pull it up. I wish I had one in my apartment right now.
I got one on my portable cooler. It's a little basket that you can lift up.
Yep.
But I've got a big live well built into my boat, and I've got a big net, dip net. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. One of those bucket savers there where you can put the bait in. Yeah, I got one of those portable ones that I can carry.
Yeah.
You just lift it up and just get your bait out and drop it down.
Yep.
But still, you got suntan lotion on your hands. You're still going to touch something.
Yeah.
In that water. I don't want any of that water contaminated. I want that bait to stay alive. I said, she's saying something. Does he have no? I said, would he like to get him one? Well, I'm always ready for something.
There you go. Yeah. No, we'll have to meet up, and I'll bring one down next time. Next time we go fishing. But yeah, they're great to keep on the bow, so that if you have, a big group of clients and everybody's fishing, and you're, baiting a hook in the back with the live well, you can keep the bait butler up front, and then they just pull it up. The bait's right there, and it provides a net for your shrimp to kind of rest on too, so that they're not,
it grabs a hold of it.
Yeah, it keeps them more lively. So yeah, it's really a fantastic product. People are loving them. Yeah, Tina's saying that she'll take you on to try out. So yeah, they're awesome, and they were flying off the shelves at the Houston Fishing Show too. I
usually go to the show, or I used to have a booth set up for years and years.
Uh-huh.
I used to always do seminars there and stuff, but it's just my clientele is word of mouth, 90% of them, and I stay pretty busy.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, we really enjoy having you on the site too, and it's great stuff. So how do you feel about the future of fishing? How do you feel it is currently, on the Texas coast, the upper Texas coast, and how do you feel about its future?
But I don't know why they're doing away with the flounders in November and December, because I'm catching flounders now. I mean, I don't think there's a shortage of flounders, but they say there is. But as far as the future, they did go from 10 to 5 trout. I think what should happen in the future, you should drop the 15-inch length fish, go back to a 14 or a 13-inch trout, because we're killing a lot of young trout. Once we're catching them and grabbing them and throwing them back, most of them's going to die because you'd already put your hands on them. You got the slime. It's kind of hard to take them off your hook, especially people using treble hooks. I would outlaw treble hooks.
Wow.
For the future. I would say no treble hooks allowed. There's no treble hooks on my boat. single hooks, because I can normally take a pliers and I can kind of shake the fish loose without touching them.
Yeah.
But I think they should drop the size back down to about 14-inch trout. And I think they got the 5 fish. You catch your 5 fish, go catch something else.
Yeah.
You get your. You used to be, man, we got to get 30 trout, Captain. What are we going to do if we get 30 trout? We're going to get a limit of red. What about after limits of red? No, it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's the future. So they did drop it to 5 fish. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, another thing is your redfish. They need to look at the redfish population. It is booming in Galveston.
Yeah.
You need to take and used to. I can remember. You weren't even born then, but if we was catching, we could keep redfish. They all it be was 14 or 15 inches. You could keep 5 a day. Then they changed to 3 a day, 20 to 27, or 28. One over, tag.
Yeah.
They need to get back down to that where you can keep 5, say from 17 inch to. Don't do a tag. Do away with the tag. You don't need a tag. Make it go from say 17 inches to 27 inches, and you're allowed to keep 1 over 27 without a tag. Why do you want to put a tag on it? That's just extra.
Yeah.
Something. You don't need a tag, but that's just me. I think they need to give us a redfish back, and I know they're looking at the flounders. I think I would raise the flounders to a 15-inch versus a 14. And I would keep it at 5 flounders.
Yeah.
You catch 5 flounders, 5 trout, 3 reds. That's a good trip.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of growth. And the average person, I bet you I got customers that got fish in the freezer from what we caught last year.
Yeah.
And I tell them, if you don't want to, eat your fish fresh. You can always come back and catch more. I said, or just make sure you give them to your neighbors. Or don't let them spoil.
Yeah. Right.
But the future of fishing, I think, is going the right direction. But I think they do need to look at lowering the trout size and giving us back 2 more redfish and dropping the length of the redfish. I think that really will help. And as far as your gaff tops and hard heads, they're always going to be there. Everybody talks about croaker fishing. Man, you're just killing a big trout. Well, if you drop the size limit and you get to 5 fish, you get your 5 trout with croakers, there's no need in catching anymore.
Yeah.
That's what they ought to do.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
But no, it's the CCA's looking at it, and sometimes I agree with them, sometimes I don't. It's just parts of wildlife. Let me tell you what's going on right now. Moses Lake, the gates close. And some of these people are going to hate me for saying this if they're listening. The gates close. Those fish are trapped in Moses Lake, trout and reds. No hard heads in there and no gaff tops because the gates are closed. There's kayaks, 25 of them almost every day. 20 people standing in line at the bottom of those gates, catching trout and reds one after another. No game warden around at all to even police it. They are taking all the fish out of Moses Lake. It's crazy.
Terrible.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
But when they open the gates, and they're supposed to open them tomorrow or next week, the water's going to flow in there so fast, it's going to bring in your hard heads and your gaff tops, and it's going to regenerate it. But a lot of fish are being taken out of there. A lot of fish. And most of them's fishing off the bank and out of kayaks. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But anyway, this is what's happening right now. That's what happened today.
Man, that's terrible. Yeah, I got to plug in my computer 1 sec.
All right.
All right. Sorry about that. Well, so I also wanted to ask you too. What's your opinion on the Louisiana limits? Because you have a unique perspective in that you fish Sabine regularly and you also fish the Texas waters.
Yeah, I think the reason Louisiana limits are so like they are 12-inch trout and 15 trout here. And if you go to Lafayette on further, I think Lafayette, then you can keep 25 and they got to be 12 inches. Their estuaries is so much different than ours. Their bayous, their estuaries, the way their back lakes are, they're going to always have plenty of fish. Well, we don't have that here in Texas.
Well, are you aware of that? You know, because a lot of people have been talking about how the Louisiana inshore fishery isn't what it used to be, and a lot of people kind of point the finger at these relaxed limits.
Well, I don't know about that. Last year, I ran a few trips over there to Louisiana, and we averaged 60 trout a day.
Wow.
And we was catching 30 and 40 flounders a day.
Wow.
I mean, it wasn't that hard to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
crazy.
but yeah, and you know, they need to take the size limit, raise it at least to 14 inches or 15. They need to drop it from 15 to 10 trout. They need to do that all through Louisiana. Of course, that'll make those Louisiana guides probably upset, but it'll make an easier day for them. They come home earlier when they get their limit.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, Louisiana water is a lot different than Galveston because we got East Bay. Well, we got grass there, but we don't have the estuaries. We don't have the flow. We got way up north. We got a big oyster bayou coming in, but it's not the flow you need. There's some big trout up there, but being they're going to close rollover pass. Well, everybody is talking about how it's going to mess the fish up in East Bay, and what's going to happen is going to push them off that shoreline and move them out toward Big Hannah's, towards Smith's Point. It's going to change the migration of the trout. It's going to really affect East Bay, maybe the oysters too, because you're not going to have the flow to clean them oysters up. So the oysters are going to be dead. Somebody got to really look at it hard, but you know, it's already a done deal. They're filling it up. They're going to shut it down, and it's crazy. I knew they was going to do that during Ike. When I helped with the cleanup for Ike, I ran my boat from April to September every day with the federal government. Wow. And I had them in my boat, and they talked about it, how they were going to close that up. And I mean, we picked up all kinds of stuff. Not in my boat, but we marked it with the GPS and gave them numbers, and they came in with barges and cranes and picked up, you name it, they picked it up.
Wow.
A lot of trash in the bays. We cleaned it up. And I helped clean up Galveston. I even helped Clear Lake, Trinity Bay. I did West Bay, and then I did Sabine Lake.
Wow.
So I was, but I had the head man with me, and you know, they were picking up a lot of. You'd be surprised what they picked up. But the bays are clean because of that.
Yeah.
They picked a lot of crab traps up.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing stuff. Well, so you know, now for our favorite question. If you had one more cast to throw in your life, what would you throw and where would you be?
Costa Rica. I would be on a boat catching sailfish, or Mazatlan.
Yeah.
I just got back from Mazatlan last year. I caught a 400-pound blue marlin.
Wow, that's amazing.
I went to Cozumel, and not Cozumel, but to Costa Rica. We caught 22 sailfish in 2 days.
Wow.
Costa Rica and big rooster fish. Costa Rica is probably the primo in the whole area. That and Panama.
Yeah.
I do a lot of traveling fishing. It's I call it continuous education. Thank you.
Study abroad.
I appreciate it. I get to write some trips off because it's my business. You know, it works and it comes in my favor. But I fished everywhere from Hawaii to Tahiti to Australia to New Zealand, Fiji. I fished all of those waters. And mainly when I fished those waters like Fiji, I was fishing for the striped marlin. I was looking for a world record, which guess what? Wind blew and it rained. So it is what it is. But I think Costa Rica would be the last cast.
Wow.
With a sailfish. I personally don't want to catch another blue marlin. 400 pounds? No, I don't think so. One's enough. But, what we was using for bait is just like a 10-pound trout.
Yeah.
but it's a big fish, you know. It's crazy. But it's fun. I enjoy doing it. My wife and I, we go on vacation. We go to the beach.
Yeah.
You know, we like the water. I like living here in Deer Park because I'm close to Fred Hartman Bridge here. I can put in there at Bayland. I can go to Thompson's. I can go to Trinity Bay. I can go up around the Monument. I can go up around Sylvan Beach. I can catch fish. Sylvan Beach is a great place to fish. That's in the winter month when this gets cold. You can throw those hard baits up against them piers and stuff and catch some nice trout.
Nice.
The best lure to use in the wintertime over there at Seven Beach is called Texas Flash. It's just like a mirror lure kind of, but it's a heck of a good lure.
Awesome.
But no, I've done just a little bit of fishing, not much, just a little bit
here and there. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, cool. Now we just have a few rapid fire questions. So whatever comes to mind first, just spit it out on me. What's your favorite body of water to fish?
It's a beam.
If you had to be doing something different, what would it be?
Deer hunting.
What other hobbies do you enjoy outside of fishing?
Traveling.
Do you have a nickname? And if so, how'd you get it?
They call me Captain Mike. My nickname is Pops because I'm 71 years old and all the fishing guides call me Pop. I mean, I got a little hair left.
There you go. Yeah. Do you have a favorite song or band right now?
Elvis Presley. Can't Help Falling in Love.
Nice. Great one.
I've been known to do a little of that, Elvis.
Do you have a favorite movie?
Oh, gosh. I like Gone with the Wind. I'm an old man. That was a good movie.
Yeah. Favorite food?
I'm Italian. I always say spaghetti, but probably just a plain old hamburger.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have a favorite drink of choice?
Vodka, a Diet Sprite, a little lime.
Amazing. There you go. Do you have a favorite sports team?
My wife loves the Cowboys, and I like Texas, so it's an argument.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, an argument as old as time, I guess.
Yeah.
Can't have any Cowboys fans. We charge them double.
Yeah.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Gosh, look into the future.
Wow, that's a good one. What was your last Halloween costume?
Superman.
Nice. That's great. What do you want for Christmas?
Another rod and reel.
Can you name one of the 7 dwarfs?
Snoopy, Snoozy. I don't know who they are. Maybe when I was 6 years old. I don't know.
We'll go with Sleepy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Sleepy. Yeah.
How many pull-ups can you do in a row?
I used to do about 50, but now I could probably do 1.5.
1.5. Count it. What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
That 400-pound marlin.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, yeah, that really about wraps it up. Would you like to give a shout out to the troops, the armed forces, first responders, nurses, doctors, everyone who's working hard right now?
Yeah, my wife's a registered nurse. Of course, she's retired. I know what the nurses go through. Being married one, of course, sometimes she says, "A good thing I'm married one," because I had infibrio in my hand. I got cut. And I got hooked. So it's good to have a nurse. No, it's good that the armed forces, and I think that they're doing a fine job. And God, the doctors, and I know away from their homes and that. And pretty soon this is going to be hopefully behind us. They'll find a cure for it, and then we'll go on with life. But it's a new way of living. You don't shake hands anymore. You bump fists or you hit elbows. You don't get close to people. You don't. Somebody coughs, you run. I mean, it's a good change of life. And do we gonna ever get back to normal? Personally, I don't think so. I think we just need to be more careful of our surroundings. You get in the elevator. I'm not getting in an elevator with 20 people. I might get there with 2 or 3, but you just got to watch it and take care. And I'm a believer, and a lot of people don't believe in flu shots. I'm 71 years old, and I'll take my flu shots, my vaccine, that stuff. And if they come out with a shot, I'm going to take it. Because I want to live to be 100. I'm never going to die. Like I told my wife, what do I need life insurance for? I'm not going to die. I'm going to live forever. I'm bulletproof. And I thought I was bulletproof. I had infibrio in my left hand 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not bulletproof. I can get injured just like anybody else.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone can catch fish like you. So you've got that one. You've got that upper hand.
There's some great fishermen out there. There's some great fishing guides. I can tell you a bunch of them right now that can catch a lot of fish. They're good.
Yeah. Well, awesome, Captain Mike. Really appreciate it. That about wraps it up. But this was really enjoyable to me, and I hope people who were watching on Facebook, learned something and enjoyed hearing from you this evening. So thanks again, and we'll have to do it again soon. This was phenomenal.
Yeah, that'll work. Now, I got a phone number if they want to write it down or whatever. It's 281-507-1933. Mike's Fishing Service. I've been doing it for a long time. And I talk on the Doug Pike show also sometimes on Saturday. And this is like I tell Doug, I said, if anybody out there has never, and they got to be honest with me, never fished saltwater and want to learn it, I would knock $100 off my price to take them out.
Wow.
That sounds like a lot, but I want people to enjoy it. It's the future, especially young kids. Bring your kids fishing. You get them hooked on fishing, not drugs. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. We'll do it again maybe later, and I'm going to write you a report here and send it to you about what happened today and kind of give you some stuff about, for your website deal.
Perfect.
But I appreciate it. And Jonathan, you take care. And the young lady, let's meet up, and maybe you and her, I don't know what she is or what you deal, but go out and go catch some fish and do a video or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that'd be great for Butler.
June's a good time to do it. I catch a lot of fish in June.
Awesome. Yeah, let's make it happen. Awesome.
You just gotta get them middle of the week, get these people back to work so they can start making money, so they can start booking trips.
Yep, let's do it. Awesome.
All right, well, take care. I'm out of here.
Thanks, Captain Mike. Take it easy.
All right, bye.